So OnePlus just launched the OnePlus Nord, and I'm going to tell you why this is going to be the best phone in under the 30,000 price range, and as well as why OnePlus just literally shattered the market. So for anybody who doesn't know, I already use a OnePlus. This is a OnePlus 6T, and I started looking at OnePlus ever since the OnePlus 2, which was my first OnePlus phone, and the reason I got into it was for the interface. So the one thing I notice about this brand is that they focus a lot on their I/O, which is the operating system basically, and that is very well refined. Like, it is considered one of the best in this platform. So getting that in a 25,000 rupees phone in this kind of time is very nice. Now most of you must be thinking that no, there are other phones that have better specs or something like that. So I'll tell you why OnePlus has made that decision and why it is a better decision than that phone. So for example, if we look back in time, we had the Poco phone. Now Poco phone was a cheap phone with a good amount of specs. It had kind of a good battery life, mediocre camera, and I would say the best thing about it was the Snapdragon 800 series chipset in it. So even though OnePlus doesn't have that, there is one thing that differs the most. Now you see, the first thing you see in a phone, like if I switch it on here, you see that the first thing is the display, and that was the worst part of the Poco phone. This display was absolutely atrocious, to the point that even the 10R, which actually does not even have a 1080p display, looked way better than the Poco phone, which actually had a 1080p display, because of the lack of colors and everything. But that is what happens when the company tries to cut corners. If you want to provide something which the people want at that price range, something else will get cut. What OnePlus did, what OnePlus noticed that what kind of customer range it wants to focus on, and then it tried to target that market in under a 25,000 range. They are targeting not those who are just poorer but also want the kind of specs they prefer, but actually somebody who wants a little bit of everything. He's not that much into photography but uses it as a hobby whenever he's traveling. He's not that much of a gamer, but he might play just a few games while he's waiting for a meeting to start or something. That is the kind of person OnePlus is actually aiming at. This is an introduction smartphone into the proper mobile industry, or as I would say, the flagship industry. This is not a flagship by any chance. Obviously there are better phones out there, but at this price range, OnePlus has actually launched something which can cater to an audience nobody has targeted before. You see, the companies which have been making phones in this price range have always focused on giving the customers the best they can at this price range, and then they try to slyly cut corners, because obviously customer at this price range would want the best thing for his price. But the good thing would be to get a premium at this price, not the best thing at this price, because when you're getting a premium at this price, you know for a fact that you will get everything premium, and you won't basically notice the kind of things that they are not putting in, and that is what matters. Besides, nowadays OnePlus has become kind of a, I won't say exactly a luxury brand, but definitely a premium brand among the customers. Since it has aimed at the flagship ranges, it has gained quite a popularity in India, and getting that kind of phone for lesser amount, some people might also buy it for the status. So when it comes to the people who might be interested in this, I would call it a good secondary phone for those who use the flagship phones as a main source, and I would recommend it for parents or anybody who is not exactly that much into the smartphone but would still like an upgrade, a fast phone and everything. Now for example, I would just like to compare it with the best 25,000 rupees smartphone you can get at the moment, which is currently the Redmi K20 Pro. It is actually for 29,000, and in which range you can get the 8GB plus 128GB variant of OnePlus Nord, whereas the K20 Pro provides 6GB plus 128GB. So you're already getting a 2GB additional RAM over it, and the chipset won't exactly bother you as much even if you're playing PUBG, which is the current generation of India. If you just put it on a lower quality, I think you can get an extreme frame rate in that as well. It depends on how much is your usage. So obviously if you are actually addicted to PUBG or you play it a lot, I won't recommend this phone. But yeah, if you are like a casual gamer and you just play it for the heck of it and like casual gaming, this is definitely the phone for you. It has 4 cameras compared to 3 of the Redmi's, and what you must know is the megapixel and everything don't matter as much as the interface and the image processing of the phone, which depends from company to company. Now if you see, even the Nokia Lumias had higher megapixel like 40 megapixel and something like cameras, but an iPhone with a 12 or 6 megapixel camera can click better pictures. Why is that? Because obviously the image processing on iPhone is better based on their own software and everything. So that's what you need to understand, that OnePlus in that category is better than any of the companies, any of the Xiaomi's or the Vivos or the Oppos when it comes to image processing. And it also has a front camera plus another wide angle selfie camera with it, which is very rare in a phone at this price range, because obviously the companies weren't so focused on it. So people who are into the casual stuff, again as I said, will always target this phone, and they are the perfect target audience for this kind of phone. Not everybody is looking for gaming, not everybody is looking for the best specs, they just want a nice experience. The 90 Hz refresh rate, even the K20 Pro does not have a 90 Hz refresh rate, which is supposed to be a gaming phone as well, since it has the 800 series chipset. Now what the 90 Hz screen will do, it will not only push the frame rate till 60 fps, it can push it till 90 fps. Now it depends on the app as well, but it also gives it an advantage in games which can go till 90 fps. So that is where it can actually technically be faster than the K20 Pro in some environments. But anyway, that is a different topic and that is very subjective. So what I want to end of the day point out is, this is an absolutely great phone and it will gain a lot of traction in this market, because I remember OnePlus started with this price range, among the 20,000 price range, and it already has phones in the 30,000 price range. So it has made kind of a concrete point of getting these market shares, and people who were earlier reluctant to spend that much will now be ready to spend that much, and people who were spending more on some other phone, even the iPhone SE, might want to actually buy this phone instead of that, since it offers so many great advantages. 6.44 screen and so many things, 4000 mAh battery, 70% charge in half an hour. You know, the quality, the proper quality, and the company which has backed it also makes it a great deal for this amount, because you don't get it anyway. So that is why what I think about the OnePlus Nord. Do put it on my comment section below what you feel about this phone. And I also wanted to talk about the OnePlus earphones which just launched, and they also are an amazing product, and not because I'm a fanboy, no, because first of all, there hasn't been a very compact earphone in this price range. The ones we saw before that were the Redmi's, and first of all, I don't know why the companies do this, even though OnePlus might have done it to some extent. The thing is, you cannot just blatantly copy another design. For example, the Redmi's look exactly same to the Apple AirPods, but obviously they are just trying to play it out as something new, whereas the OnePlus actually have kind of a unique look, a unique color, which may differentiate it. But the huge selling point of those earphones, I would say, is first of all noise cancellation, as well as waterproofing, and as well as 30 hours of battery life in the case itself. Do you know how bonkers that is? Even the AirPods don't have, and right now no earphones in that capacity, in that kind of volume, give that much amount of battery life to the earphones. Right now only I think OnePlus is the one, and it has a decent earphone battery life as well. I would say it's quite impressive how they manage that. I have the Bullet C wireless here with myself, and they are absolutely amazing when it comes to sound quality. So I can imagine that if the sound quality has improved way more based on the time that has gone by, and I have tried the wireless as well, so I think these earphones are gonna be the personal preference of many people. In fact, even I might buy them once these earphones give out, or once I feel the need to buy a new pair of wireless earphones, because at 5,000 you're not even spending that much as a proper AirPods, which are like 3 times the price. You're getting a good battery life, good sound quality, noise cancellation, which is absolutely bonkers, because most of the companies that are offering it at this price point are just basically lying. They're just like, oh, it provides passive noise cancellation because of the earbuds, and that is absolute crap. So I think that if you're looking for earphones, you should definitely check that out, and you would probably like it. That is my opinion on it. So if you liked it, do like, share, subscribe on this, and I'll see you later.